5:30, sorry. All right, as required by law, the town may audio or video record this meeting. Any person intending to either audio or video record this open session is required to inform the chair. Recording notice called to order. Okay, public announcements, guests, and comments. Do we have any public announcements?
Do you want to go to the...
We have
Oh, okay.
public announcements, nothing. Miscellaneous correspondence, I have nothing.
Nope.
You have anything, Ellen?
Nope.
Okay, let's move down to new business. Beach regulations and rules, signs, vote to allow the director to rebuild signs and include housekeeping changes.
Yep, so we're,
Go ahead, Deb.
yeah, so we're, the big signs at the beaches that you see that have like 1 million rules on them, they have to be updated.
This is why John's not here.
Yeah.
The
he did
signs.
There's things that have already passed that need to get on there, so we have to get all new signs. But they're just things, the no smoking rule that went into effect. We do have separate signs that say that, but it has to go in the beach rules and regs. Some of the drone language, we did that years ago, but it needs to be updated on the signs. And then the fines for littering, things like that have changed. So we just have to update the fines on the signs.
Okay.
So I just need a vote to be able to
Do we have to get Frank on?
oh geez, good call. I do this every month.
It's all right. Didn't want you to get too far into it.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks, Frank. Well,
Every
Frank,
single month.
See, already bringing it to the table. Nice
Yeah,
job.
that's my contribution this month.
More than
Frank?
nine.
He'll
Wait,
appreciate
hold
it.
on. There he is. Hey Frank.
Frank, we're on new business, Frank, about the beach rules and regulations and signs and so on.
Yeah, and Frank, I just updated them that all this is we're buying new signs, the ones that have like the long list of rules and regulations at each beach. We just have to get some of the language on there of things we've passed in the past, including the no smoking rule, some of the drone language, as well as updating the fines that are on the bottom. So I just need a vote from the commission to allow me to change the signs.
What about the signs that are also down on the fields, like there's one on the dugout, behind the dugout, that's about yay long.
Yep.
And first of all, they're very difficult to read.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Because of the print. and
Yeah,
so
it's
on.
small. Yeah.
And secondly, I wonder how many people will really abide by those signs,
Well, that's the thing with that one and the beach rules and regs. That's
Yeah.
a separate one for field rules and regs. I don't think many people actually stand there and read them. I don't think I've ever, but it's something you have to have at your beaches and parks.
Okay.
Liability factors, things like that. We do have times where, like at the beach, for instance, last summer, if, somebody's smoking, we want to be able to say, nope, it's in the rules right here,
Makes it easy for
So-
enforcement.
Let me ask further. There is a sign on the dugout at first base, down at Potter Field. It's on the back of the dugout.
Yep.
What about the other field? There are no signages down there.
The field rules and regs?
Yeah.
Well, we're
So we
required
could-
to put one at each complex, but we could put another one.
Yeah.
That's not a problem.
Yeah. Where would we affix that sign? The backstop or the back?
Yeah, we could put it anywhere,
Can you
really.
do that?
Yep, and we're gonna be ordering new field signs too because of any of the changes that we've done,
Okay. All right.
so.
Okay. Questions, comments? Hearing none. I need a vote.
You need to
Motion,
put a motion on the floor.
please.
I'll motion that we follow the director's lead on this one.
Okay. A second.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's a vote. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Okay, the next is the approval of minutes. We've got a bunch of them. October 4th, I need a motion, please.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's a vote. November 28th,
Motion.
motion second.
Second.
Phyllis? Discussions? None? Hearing none? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
December 12th.
Motion.
Second.
Phyllis? Hearing none? No comments? Vote?
Aye.
Aye.
And the last one, January 30th,
Motion.
2024. Leah
Second.
and Phyllis.
You got a clean sweep there.
That's it. On it. Let's go.
Right on.
All right, good.
Okay.
500.
Now, those are the first five. We get more coming, Eric.
These are the first four, February and this meeting right now.
Yeah.
She's gonna do together that we'll have it.
What
next
about
month.
the years, the out year.
This, I believe this gets us up to date.
Yeah.
Yeah, October was the last one.
Was September.
September was the last one
that
we
was
did,
done.
yeah.
Okay.
We did that one.
Yep,
And
yep.
then October.
So we're up to date pretty much.
Other than last month and this month,
Okay,
yeah.
fine.
Yep.
Super.
Right, and
Good
anything
job.
previous to when we started filming wouldn't be able to, if there was any backlog for that, because there's no video for it.
Only just written and, yeah,
Yeah,
written,
so-
yeah, yep.
All right, good job. Tell the person that's doing this, we thank you.
She's a
Thank
good
her and
one.
appreciate
Yep,
her
she's a
efforts
good
on
one.
our behalf. Really, it's about time we get this underway. Old business, Carolyn and Arthur, I guess.
Yes.
The two of you.
You guys wanna
Come
come
on
up, or whoever wants to come
Sit
up?
where you wanna
Totally
sit.
up to you,
Yeah.
wherever you want.
Small, intimate enough.
Arthur, what is your last name?
Oh, sure, yeah, that's fine.
Donowski, Donowski.
You got that, Eric?
Oh, I missed by one letter. Got it.
DON,
Okay? And you got Carolyn as well?
Yep, I got her, yep.
Okay, fine. Anytime you're ready, folks.
Yeah, I guess first I just wanted to say thank you, obviously, for having us back a second time. The last time I was here, we for the first time, I think, maybe mentioned a particular idea or, momentum that has started. And at that time, we're pretty focused on perhaps getting endorsement from this commission and I shared this with the group with the intention of then being able to go to the Community Preservation Commission. We since went to the CPC, and I'm guessing anyone in this room probably keeps up with the town minutes or, maybe has watched that session, but I just wanted to in person connect the dots and kind of go back to keep you all up to date. I don't think that CPC funding for the feasibility study that we're looking to complete is the most appropriate avenue at this time, just due to the timing of the possible allocation of those funds. Not to mention that those are, taxpayer dollars. So at this point, this project, in order for us to appropriately move forward and have facts beyond just whomever is showing up to the meetings that we're hosting or this momentum that we can tangibly see in our community, we will be looking to privately fund a feasibility study. So I know, I'm thinking, Eric, did you forward along?
Yeah, all the packets, yep,
Okay.
yep.
So it's pretty comprehensive research that we've been interacting with different aquatic design firms all the way back to last year. Again, not to complicate things or go too far back, but to give you, again, just a little bit of a context of the story. I know I shared with you, I'm not a Harwich resident, I live in Dartmouthport. But we were thinking, that this could be like an outdoor facility and that it would be funded by CPC dollars, perhaps. So when we first started connecting with some of these architectural design firms, the scope of a feasibility study looked like one thing. And then as we went back to them and said, oh, by the way, maybe it would be a regional facility. And oh, by the way, the feedback from our group and our meetings has been, okay, an outdoor pool would be great for a summer swim league, but the need is much greater than this. So the point is we've kind of embraced the journey along the way and appropriately, no pun intended, but flowed. And so here we are. I guess from the commission, what we would be hoping for perhaps, first is just the opportunity to listen. We view you all as, trusted servants of the community that are willing to promote recreation. And quite frankly, that's pretty important. So we want to make sure to listen to any questions that you have or any feedback that you might be willing to share with us. That's really kind of where we are. And then perhaps secondly, in addition to that, we would, you know, maybe not today, but we are looking for endorsement perhaps from this group to say, yes, we support the idea of a feasibility study. We have that unanimous support in writing from the Yarmouth Rec Commission. And we're looking to get it, actually tomorrow night, there's a meeting, but hoping to get it from Dennis. So in our arsenal, if you want to call it, and our like support of saying, okay, we've been in touch with different towns before we are able to get to the masses of people, which is what we are hoping to do actually through the feasibility study. But before we're able to get to the masses, we're looking to you all to say, oh, by the way, the Rec Commission endorses this.
Okay.
That's enough chatting for me.
Arthur?
Carolyn asked me, part of my background is in health and fitness for over 35 years. I worked for the YMCA of New York, did a lot of fundraising and part of a lot of projects. So she asked me to come on and help. And one of the things, wanted to just gauge the interest or support of Harwich for such a project. Again, I don't think it's a singular public, I don't think it's a singular private. I think it's going to be a lot of people involved. Is Harwich interested in seeing a pool built in Lower Cape that would service multiple towns?
Well, it's a good question. I think that there are pros and cons based on what we're hearing. What I'm hearing, I don't know about others, but what I'm hearing is there are those who support the concept very, very strongly, and there are others who are not that keen on having a pool at this time, indicating that we have these beautiful beaches there. Why not go down to the local beaches and support the beaches? So, yeah, we have some discussions. There are some people who have come to us and have indicated their feelings about the whole idea of a pool. But we're willing to listen and go on from here.
And if I may, then just
Before you go on,
I can go this way.
Go ahead, Arthur. Yeah.
You were going to say.
I was just gonna piggyback on what you say. I think there's also a lot of question about the regionalization of it and what that would look like as far as just overhead in general and payments and money. And I mean, those are all
the funding issue,
massive questions.
Location.
Yeah,
There's still
location.
There's still a lot I think from our perspective, there's still a lot of questions that still need to be raised and answered, and I'm not quite sure we're ready to do anything at this point.
Yeah, all great questions. And as you go down the road, those become more concrete to answer.
Right.
Like if it was more public, then there would be money set aside for different groups that would get access. If it was private, it'd be more run like a membership-based operation. But if there's not a great interest or support, then you really, kind of gauging that from the towns if there's a support to it. I agree. I mean, the lakes are beautiful, the beaches are beautiful. My daughter first began to swim at Bucks Pond, but then it's very limited. You can't really. She can become proficient, so she can still keep her head up. But she's part of the Cape Cod Swim Club now, to where she's swimming competitively and can't really swim competitively. What we've found going to different towns, and our membership group is growing exponentially. How many people are saying, yes, we do want something year round, because there's not a lot of access other than Willie's out in Eastham or the YMCA to do. And Cape Cod Swim Team just went to Buffalo. We have kids competing to get on the Olympics. So there's wait lists on both ends. There is a need, or there is a desire initially. We're getting the names and addresses and the people, and so we can say, look, here's 1,000 people. It says we want this. You're the experts. Help us figure out those other questions. What would make sense in terms of construction and building? I've been involved in those, so I'm pretty familiar with how to do a pool and do it efficiently and do it cost effectively. Maybe not a 50-yard pool with a deep well where you're heating up a gazillion gallons of water. Those are kind of dinosaurs now. No one really builds those
know, the Chatham Health Club had a pretty decent pool over there. My son is a big swimmer, and he used to go there almost 3 or 4 nights a week and swim, but when that shut down, he was going up to Willie's, but I guess Willie's gym had a couple of problems up there. You know, many problems, I think, in terms of management and so on. And so he's not going up there any further, but in any event, he would love to have a pool, okay?
Yeah. And I
But,
think
you know,
I think there's also a huge need, and again, understand my backgrounds in fitness and nutrition. Part of that older population, you need those huge pools to do, you know, for arthritis, exercise, you know, heart failure, hypertension. I mean, you build a well with a heated 92-degree pool, you can service a large of our senior population, so that would be part of the project.
Mr. Chairman, who's he speaking of, older population?
Me,
Yeah.
me, my birthday, I now joined that lovely group. I'm proud to be part of that.
all right, let me go around the table. Thank you, Arthur. and
Could I just
Carolyn.
make one quick comment?
Sure, go ahead, please.
Just to address the comment, it was really well received with the complexities of this idea of regionalization. That's definitely well received, and that's why I think going back to last meeting, we kind of talked about this, but that's why at this second, we are choosing to move forward as a private group that could then have these quantifiable sets of data to, in theory, happily turn over to whichever single municipality or group of municipalities, so it wouldn't be like wasted effort that our group would be doing. We could say, oh, this is, you know, the first stage of this analysis. So the answer of getting more than one town involved, yeah, is very difficult.
It's very difficult.
Right, we know
Collaborating
that.
amongst towns is very difficult.
But in fact, that's why we chose to establish ourselves as a nonprofit, is because we're mindful of the fact that getting 2 towns to negotiate anything is not a simple process. And furthermore, the average person who is pro swimming or even pro aquatic therapy, whatever you want to define it as, is kind of offset by the person who loves the Cape for the beaches and the ponds. And quite frankly, I mean, the reason I live here is because of those beaches and ponds. So it's not that we're looking, or not that this vision is to, oh, let's just, you know, be at the pool with pina coladas all day. It's more coming from a place of let's keep our community healthy and active and acknowledge the power that water can bring as a lifelong, you know, medium to keep people healthy. It's pretty powerful once you start getting into the research that's behind.
All right, I'd like to go around the table if I may, and Leah, you all set?
Yeah, I mean, I just, right back to the regionalization, without even a location, I feel like, you know, even a feasibility study is almost cart before the horse. Without a location, that's gonna be really your baseline of how much it's gonna cost, what your in-depth looks are, what your building will look like, if it's an indoor outdoor, depending on, you know, where you are. So I guess I'm still just, I'm not seeing it just yet.
Too many uncertainties.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Brian, please.
I think, yeah, the location is the biggest thing, is nailing down that. I think to answer your quick question of, you know, is there interest in Harwich? From people I interact with day to day, yeah, there is. There's a lot of questions though. So, you know, I think continuing to find the location and answering those questions and ironing that out, yeah.
Good.
I think that'd be good. I think you're very comprehensive in everything you're doing though, so keep it up.
Good, thank you, Brian. David?
Are you folks part of the initiative petition that's going to town meeting in the town of Harwich?
The person that submitted that petition is in a group.
Is in your group?
Correct.
So they're representing you as a totality?
I wouldn't necessarily say that.
Patrick?
Yeah,
No, I don't.
Yeah.
It wasn't, that was Patrick's own,
yeah.
yeah.
So he's not part of your group.
No,
Well, he is, but no one in the group charged him with go do that. He did that.
On his own.
Yeah, so that's why it's kinda hard to, you know what I'm saying? Here's our president, she never said, hey, go do this, he took it on his own to do that.
What does the article ask for?
To answer that
No.
a little bit more.
It's a non-binding initiative petition to see if the town will vote to have a pool.
What does that mean, have a pool?
Yeah.
Like,
They wanna get a general,
For Harwich.
general overview of what people will accept in the town, whether they accept it or not.
The petition that was written,
I haven't read it, so I'm speculating at this
oh
point.
yeah, no, there's not much to it. I mean, it's just, hearsay, they toss a couple words in that, are kind of fancy sounding, but,
But you had no part of that, and you're the president of the York.
no, could I finish for 1 second?
Sure, go ahead.
So Patrick actually, moved forward with that. I have to look back, but I'm quite confident prior to me meeting him. And in the same way that when I met Arthur, our kind of paths align. In other words, we're coming out of the woodwork. All of these people there have been many initiatives actually on the Cape.
No, and I understand that, but this most recent initiative petition, I'm quite sure that you had been to this board, the rec board, because I know you've been to the CPC board. And he was just in front of the Board of Selectmen this Monday night, pitching that. So I find it odd.
David, what was he pitching?
The initiative petition
Yeah.
to see whether or not
For
a
the town of Harwich.
non-binding, yeah.
Trying to get my CPC money
Right.
to do it?
Well, no, he didn't say that.
No.
He just wanted to get a gander of the folk
Actually,
to see what they're doing.
Patrick was hoping to make it here this evening, but
That's good. I would have been interested to chat with him.
He's been he is a member of our group, and I say that in the context of he's come to all of our, since I met him. And it's not like an exclusive membership with our group. Any meeting that we have, anyone is, welcome to come. They're public, meetings. We try and host them about once a month.
It's always good to speak with one voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sort of this group is getting together with
Okay.
that.
Now, do you have an organized, let me ask if I may, David, do you have an organized group? I mean, is there,
Getting very organized now. Yes.
okay, so you're the president?
Arthur
Chairman?
nominated me as the president
No
via
choice,
text
right?
like 2 days ago.
So how many
You
people?
go, girl.
How many
No,
folks
we're-
are involved in the nucleus of your committee, or whatever that committee makeup could be?
We have 200.
No, I'm talking
Well,
about
the committee,
the
about
governance.
About
the-
5 people.
Five
who
people,
have met
okay.
as a group. I just came in.
Yeah.
And one of the things I have talked to
And-
them
and-
about is like, let's.
Do you have a
get our
representative from
offices.
each of the towns that you're involved with?
That's been our goal, is to make sure that we do
And Mr.
have.
Orton is a member of of your committee?
He's the signer in our bank account.
Okay. You done, you
I'm
all
all
set?
set.
Phyllis, please?
So the way I see it is, because it hasn't been done regionally, doesn't mean it can't be done. And if you got, all these different towns and defined it, and because you don't have any physical assets at this point, I don't see, you shouldn't focus, because you don't have it, why can't you keep going forward? Because that's what you're doing, right? You're making a long-term plan. We have beaches and ponds, but that's seasonal. It doesn't give you year-round, and a pool gives you totally different things than a pond or the ocean. My husband goes to the Y in Hyannis to swim. I know people that go to, I don't know the name of it, it's independent living on Freeman, where you join, that has a pool.
Independent,
Freeman and 39, there's Pleasant Bay Nursing Home, and then there's an
Yeah.
independent living.
Woodland. I think it's a-
Woodland, that's the name
That's
of it, Woodland, yeah, they have a pool, Willie's, that's about it, and those are only, that's nothing that really, except for the Y, that children participate in, I mean, the Willie's.
Liberty Commons had a pool.
Liberty Commons, oh. okay.
Broadreach, they had a little small pool.
Yeah,
But they filled it in during the COVID. They
Oh.
don't have it any longer.
Oh.
Because of COVID, they,
yeah, and why, and the other thing is to focus on what you want. Do you want a therapy pool or not? Because there are therapy pools, so maybe that's a part you don't need. But really to focus on, and have you thought of, I know in my other town, the pool building had deteriorated and a private group got together, raised the money, built a pool with a retractable roof, like a building and so it was indoor, outdoor. That was a while ago, but that's another thing is that something that's feasible? Because I think, unless you've been involved in like competitive swimming, you don't see what it does for kids.
yeah, right.
I mean, it's an individual sport and a team sport at the same time, because you're always working for your personal best, plus you've got the team, and I mean, the focus that these kids have to have, it's not like you're out in the soccer field, I mean, they're focused in a different way, but swimming gives you a whole different, kind of goals.
In the town where I grew up, there was a group that put together, a private group that put together a pool. We're very busy. I mean, you can't get in really. I mean,
Yeah.
they try to get as many kids as possible into the programs, but it's been going on for years and years. Okay,
Can I just go quick?
Eric.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, so I think it's very much needed, a pool. I totally think from the rec standpoint, there's so many opportunities I can think of, you know, like rec programs, lifeguard training, swim therapy, senior fit, there's a million different things. But just from doing all the projects I've done in town with CPC and otherwise, so like they said, location is a big one. Then who gets to use it is a big one, and then the funding for the actual construction of the place. But like, I was around when they tried to put the pool here. And if you look at like town meeting and the arguments about it, it was just too expensive. But I think the undercurrent was that something that needs to be focused on is, say everything goes perfect, you build this, you know, this great place, how do you fund it ongoing? And
The maintenance.
The maintenance, the staffing, all that stuff, I think that was a big part of why it didn't go through here too.
Yeah, no, and thank you so much. I mean, great questions. I hope in 5 years we can have a little celebration with this group and say,
Yeah.
and being a Harwich resident, personally, I would love to see it in Harwich. But no, this is infancy, this is start,
Sure.
this is just getting
You
the
gotta start
officers.
somewhere, and we,
So, again, love to come to you guys because.
We commend you,
You
Carolyn,
are,
for,
that's.
really. You
How-
need
how do I
to be
feel?
commended for getting this thing rolling.
Thank you.
A lot of work involved, I'm sure, and I love your reports and so on. Thank you very much for your work.
Could I just make one
Sure.
comment in regards to location? So the feasibility study that we are moving forward with, out of these three happens to be the one that falls in the middle of the two others for price. But in this study, well, the first most important thing is that the study in its entirety doesn't have to be funded. So it's broken into these phases where we can move seamlessly from like, you know, once the first market analysis is done, then we start looking at sites, then we start looking at operational analysis of the programs. It would be programs ultimately, you know, programs are what dictate a well-run pool,
Sure.
right? So the management of time. But the location, just to comment on that, this report would be inclusive of like 3 potential sites. So it's okay that, I mean, I realize if you were building a house, you would procure land and you would say, oh, this is the site before we're gonna build the house. Definitely before we're gonna talk about the hardware in the kitchen. But in this particular case, it is appropriate to, well, it might feel like putting the horse ahead of the carriage. We're looking to just get a sense beyond what the towns are able to help us get a sense of the meeting. And actually, we're looking to do a Yarmouth petition as well. But to get numbers to say, of these Harwich residents, of these Yarmouth residents, of these Truro residents, you know, X percentage of people might be interested in participating in this project, if that makes any sense.
Let's, David.
One question. is within your group, is there anyone that is philanthropic enough to jump out and provide a piece of land?
My backyard has got a lot of,
Ask us that in maybe in 1 month from now. But, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that would change that's
I
the,
think this whole project, for me, which it's been about a year that we've been actively kind of pounding the pavement, and truly, while cliche as this sounds, looking to learn from efforts that have been made in the past. So in Falmouth, there was a group about 12 years ago, Falmouth Aquatics. They started, unbeknownst to me, but they started very similar to us, kind of as this grassroots group that started saying, hey, wouldn't this be nice in our community? We need something. Then they got to the point of acquiring land, and now they're at a point of building a YMCA facility in Falmouth. And so they, to your point, they acquired land from a church. So it was, a deal that was, they had raised enough money to look to move forward. So we are mindful that there are opportunities, perhaps for the acquisition of land on the Cape.
go see
Also-
Jimmy Marshline.
Also, yeah. Also in our group, I mean, we do have some pretty serious benefactors, people that are interested in this project.
That's what I was saying, give us a month. Keep it better.
All right, Frank,
thank you.
David, Frank, are you all set, Frank? You got a question or two?
Did I understand that it's gonna be privately funded, this feasibility study?
Yes.
Right now it
We're
is.
not waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I came from a small town of Agawam 50 years ago, and they had a pool there at the high school. I wonder what happened. Does Sandwich still have a pool? If not, I wonder what happened there.
Yes, they do.
They have one, Frank. Still operational, I guess.
It's still operational.
Just to comment on that, because it's a fascinating point of reference target to learn from. Many people reference the Sandwich pool as, the huge problems that they had with the leak in the Sandwich pool. Well, there was a leak. There was a leak in the Sandwich pool. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough in the reserve to take care of the leak. So then it went to the town, and then once an entire town's population is involved with paying for anything, the answer is no. Let's squabble about it for 5 years and then no. I mean, I'm sorry to be
So you
facetious.
understand.
And the leak gets a little.
But ironically
Wow.
enough, the superintendent at Dennis Yarmouth right now, Dr. Smith, happened to be involved in Sandwich at the time of that leak. And I've met with him because, of course, we're looking to superintendents and schools and different pockets of people within our community, leaders, to say, David, it sounds like you're in our group. Do you want to be in our group? We're looking to rally people together.
I can't. I sit on this, I chair the CPC, and I sit on this board, so.
Let me ask Frank if there are any other questions. Frank?
No, I'm in favor of, as long as that feasibility is really in-depth, everything but the location.
Okay, thank
I
you.
hope to cover that.
Thank you, Frank.
You're welcome.
Okay, I think we've covered everything you want to cover tonight, okay? We're not gonna take any action on this tonight, obviously. Thank you for coming in again and reporting to us.
Thank you.
Keep us in mind, keep the thing rolling, and keep us aware of what's going on. You're welcome to come in anytime, just put yourself on the agenda with Eric. And we'd like to know what your progress is as you move forward, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for your time. I know you
Appreciate
thought it
it.
was gonna be a short meeting. So.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, item B, potential splash pad project. I think you might have gotten an email.
Yeah, I can
Thank
give you a
you.
little update.
We're gonna put that on hold for the time being, right?
Yeah, but I could just give you a
Go
quick
ahead.
update.
Go
So
ahead, please.
I spoke with Green Acres Landscaping. I call it Green Acres Landscaping and O'Brien and Sons. I have not heard back from O'Brien and Sons, but Green Acres Landscaping, I did speak to the sales rep or whoever it is there. They didn't have the time to come out and view the sites this month or come to the meeting. They will next month. They open up in April. They like the idea of coming before you guys as well and giving you options. On top of that, I also spoke with the highway department just to see what their opinion is on locations, because I know we were talking about that a lot. I spoke to Brian Albee. He said both of them are doable, both Brooks Park and Outback. He said Brooks Park, it's a lot harder to get the water over there if we were looking at the spot with the tennis backboard. But he said they're both doable.
Okay.
So that was his input. He started talking about parking and stuff like that too, but I mainly was looking for his input on that.
So we'll wait until April and get a full report in
Yep,
April.
they can come in April to the
Good.
next meeting,
Okay.
and then before then, or in connection with that, they'll come out and view both sites.
Good.
Which will give us an idea of what size we can look for, because they have.
I think that's what we're looking for. We're looking for something more comprehensive
Yep.
in terms of.
And we did get the package too that Dave put together.
Yeah, that's
thank you.
perfect.
Water
Thank you
management,
for
about
that.
the filtration.
Actually, that's a friend of mine put that together for me,
Good.
so
Thank you.
I
to
was very
present to the
impressed.
board.
Yeah.
I was
Good
very
job all around, guys.
Which answers some
Yeah.
questions
Yeah.
It did. I
on
loved
the reuse and
Yep,
stuff like that.
exactly.
Yeah.
That was.
So-
Okay.
It really showed a savings on it.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Good
that
Good
was
job,
perfect.
David. Appreciate it. Eric,
All right,
thank you for
thank
your
you.
work.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
thank
move
you,
on
David.
to kayak storage rental update. This is
Alright.
something that was on the agenda last month or the
Yep.
month prior to, with Karen Doucette.
Yep.
Okay, have you contacted her and kept her informed?
Yep, so since then, I've been in contact with Karen Doucette. I also met with administration, and we got the go-ahead to go with a pilot program.
Okay,
So we're
Awesome.
gonna do a rack, we're gonna have a rack at Cahoon's and one at Sand Pond.
Okay.
See how it goes and expand from there. I wrote a draft, I'll actually email this out to you guys, I just finished it today. But like a draft instructional agreement, liability waivers, things like that. It's gonna go before the Board of Selectmen, April 8th, so they can establish the fee. The fee that we're recommending based on other towns that do it is $100 for the season, for a slip.
okay.
Season would be from April 15th. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that's not right. May 15th through October 15th. That would be your slip time. One of the issues that was brought up was what about all the ones that illegally store their kayaks at Sand Pond and,
we
you
go.
know, in the woods? So my plan with that is to put a sticker notice. Please remove your kayak, canoe, whatever it is, by this date. If not, it will be taken by the town. There will be a $15 a day storage fee. If you don't pick it up in a year, it becomes town property.
Awesome.
Great.
And I already got approval to do that.
Good.
Awesome.
We're gonna be I also met with Amy Wasowski, Conservation Director, to make sure we pinpointed spots at each beach where we could put it, because it has to be 50 feet back from the high water line.
Okay.
So we got her approval. So the only thing left is this agreement's gonna go to administration, we're gonna go to the select board for the fee, and we're gonna order the kayak racks.
Will
I
you
was
give
just
us a
gonna ask.
progress report in April as to
Sure, yeah,
after the Board of
yep.
Selectmen?
And the racks themselves, so we were looking into buying the racks, but I believe the highway department could build some for us.
I was gonna
You
say,
know,
is it,
because we've looked at all different ones.
the ones I see online look
Yeah, like-
almost like not worth the.
Yeah, like this
the
is like a
price.
metal one.
Yeah.
Then there's ones that are really nice, but they're super expensive. This is like
We have
900.
that in
Karen
our
has one of
garage.
those in her.
That's like $820 for
That's made
a
from
rack
wood, yeah,
of three.
there's-
Right, and I
built
feel
from
like I feel like DPW could do that.
Build that for a
Karen
lot
has
less.
one of
And
those racks in
if
her
we
yard.
look,
Yeah.
if we
Is it
look
made
at
of
the
teak?
ones in the other towns,
Ours are two
Yep.
by
they're
fours.
3 times the size
Well,
of
that's
that.
we want at least 6 to 8
Right.
per rack.
Right,
Yeah.
So
so
this
that
is
you're
and this is only
making
3.
the money
Yeah,
back.
we
And how would they
approached it.
lock? Where would they
So-
lock?
That's
to?
the other. So they would have to supply their own lock
Yeah.
and chain.
Yep.
So they just lock it around the post.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we approached the kids up at Cape Tech Carpentry Department to see if they were willing to.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yep. I could
I know
definitely
that
do
they're anxious to take on projects.
And I know.
And the only thing that we have to pay for, or the town has to pay for,
Material.
is their
Material.
materials. You buy them a sub sandwich, you give them a couple of pizzas, and they're happy. They'll
Actually,
give
the
you all the
principal
labor
there
you
is my
want.
assistant baseball coach, so,
There you go.
yeah.
In fact, I know the
That
superintendent,
works.
I know the superintendent up there quite well. If there's
Yep.
any way I can help you with that, let
Okay.
me know.
So
Okay?
that's moving forward.
All right, good job. Here we go. Recreation, Director's Report.
So for updates, I just wanted to give you an update on the spring programs. So this is kind of a list of what we have right now out there. We have the co-ed rec 5v5 soccer. We have flag football, 2 days of that, 2 different age groups. We have the Hoops with Newt basketball clinic. We have the travel softball league. We have intro to t-ball for ages 3 to 5. Then we have our pre-farm league, which is grades K1, 2, same type of t-ball instructional, which then leads to farm league, which is when they make their teams and they go outside and the weather's a little better. We also have a track and field program we put together for youth. We have our daily after-school program. Just new is a youth pickleball outdoor lessons. We did the indoor one. We're going to do a Brooks Park one with volunteers from pickleball. And it looks like I met with somebody about bringing back guided kayak tours, which we used to do in the summers. But it could actually be springboarded by a kayak lesson and kind of clinic for kids or adults in the late spring. In addition to those, for adults, we have the over 55 basketball. We started a new, highly requested over 70 basketball. So believe it or not, I got like 25 emails about it. So
Good for them.
we got it going. We have our billiards league, our senior sit and fit, our senior walk class.
I won't be doing that. It's
I
okay.
We have our Brooks Park pickleball. And then we have a new, well, if we get it all together, a new adult open gym. It was requested for like an 18 and up kind of thing. Kind of a bridge the gap. You have the kids, you have the 55 up, you have the 70 up. But like the kind of younger
18
adults.
to 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then adult volleyball. I'll mention it more later, but with our new program specialist that's going to be coming in, he's very high on getting a bunch of special events going, and he's had some
Awesome.
great ideas for trivia nights, bingo nights. Oh man, he had a bunch of them.
Yeah.
There was others. Yeah.
Awesome.
Good. Terrific. We'll keep them busy.
So that's that. Let me just see if I have other updates. The ice cream vendor. We had the bid opening for that. It's the same. It was one bidder, same company we've had for a long time. Winterbottom Ice Cream. It was $28,041 for a 3-year contract, which comes out to $93.47 a year. That's a number that drops pretty much every year. I think they know they're the only bidder. I think when I started here, it was about $25,000 a year.
Wow, I'm gonna get an ice cream truck.
But the minimum bid is $5,000, so we're going to sign them on. Let's see what else. And then as I mentioned, we went through the whole interview process for Program Specialist 3, Sue's position. I interviewed 9 people. We had maybe another 6 to 8 applicants. Other than that didn't meet all the requirements for an actual interview. Narrowed it down, and we did make a hire. Who's going to be great for us. He's just finalizing paperwork with the town. My plan is to bring him into the April meeting.
Good.
So he can introduce
Terrific.
himself.
We'd like to meet him, I'm sure.
So those were my updates, and then questions, whatever you guys want.
Tell me about, very quickly, where
Sure.
are we with my rec?
Yeah.
And a couple of other questions that I have about the restroom projects at Sand Pond
Sure.
and so on. Why don't you go through those?
So my rec, we did the soft launch. We've been taking after-school program registrations for it. Haven't had too many hiccups, so it's going good. So we're going to start expanding that into other programming. People are putting together their accounts. So you set up an account on my rec. We're alerting people in other programs that are signing up to get their account set up. The piece that's frustrating is the financial part. But between myself and now the town administrator bugging the finance department, they are doing their setup meeting with my rec April 11th. So it should be ready soon after that for financial payments.
Can I just ask one question
Sure.
on it? How can I find it? The
I-
MyRec? Because I was
oh.
looking through the town website and
Yep.
I didn't see like a link or anything, so I just want to make sure I'm not like looking around.
So I'll send you I have it written on a sticky note in my office, but it's a site, it's a site name. I'll send it to you guys. we're gonna put out flyer after flyer and really promote it.
Okay.
We wanted to get through the soft launch, make sure it wasn't like
Yeah,
blowing
for
up.
sure. Yeah, no,
So,
for sure.
yeah,
I
but
just
we're gonna
wanted to be able
promote
to
it
go
big
and
time.
look at it.
Yeah,
and
sure,
see
I'll
it.
send that
So,
over. Mhm.
Okay, yeah, you just literally email the link.
Okay,
That's it.
got it. And then, yeah, and then what, the bathrooms?
The bathrooms, where are we with all those bathrooms?
Are we on
Bids
this
and so
maintenance
on?
report now?
No?
No, still on
We're still
director's
on
report.
director.
Or in director's
It's on,
report?
yeah, I had an item on there.
He's got a lot.
The senior softball restroom project, we signed on with a company, Cape and Islands Engineering, to do the septic design. Once that's complete, it's good that the septic RFP as well as the building RFP will go out to bid. That could kind of piggyback on Sand Pond. We had put the septics in there, it's hooked up to the old bathroom. We weren't getting any bidders for the stick built. Since then, we've had like 2 or 3 people approach administration about being interested. So there's a new bid opening for the stick built, third time's a charm, April 2nd.
Good.
And then if that works out well, and we do find a company that's willing to do the stick built, they may be willing to also do senior softball. So that's where we're at with that.
All right. David?
Go around.
Go ahead, David.
Couple of things, the stick build,
Yep.
handicap accessible,
Oh, yeah.
so there's not gonna be any question about that.
No.
This
You
thing.
can't build it without it. Yeah.
Okay.
And on that note, David, the foundation is gonna be the same as the building itself, the problem we had at Brooks.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Next thing is Cahoon's Pond. Can you request
Oh.
highway to go up there and drag it or put new
Drag it.
material in? Because it's pretty,
That's
Plotting.
maintenance report you're on.
yeah, I'm on,
Okay.
well, when I heard him talk about Sand Pond, I thought he was jumping
Why
on.
don't we wait until the maintenance report, we'll grab that question then,
Yep.
okay?
Yep, sure.
That's it.
Frank, you got any questions or concerns about the director's
That
report?
hire, that new hire that you.
Don't say his name. Yeah.
Is that a local person, or local up to Cape Cod, I should say?
He's not from Cape Cod originally, but he's been working for us all year. He lives in town, if that's what you want. Yeah. I'll have more info, in-depth info on him next month. for
So
you
he's a
guys.
Harwich
Okay.
resident?
Right now, I believe. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, we'll wait until April and ask more questions then about.
Yeah, yep, perfect. And then, I don't know if there's more director's report questions from everyone.
Do you have any questions about the director's
not,
report?
no.
Anyone? Okay, let's move on to the maintenance report. I think, David, you had a question or two about the maintenance report?
No,
Cahoon's, you said, right?
I've asked them, so,
And at the dragging, I'll ask them what their schedule is. They usually start dragging out the ponds, Sand Pond, Cahoon's, Long Pond, as we get closer and closer to the season, but I'll find out what their schedule is for it. Just to pretty it up a little bit.
okay. Amy wouldn't allow them to take that tree down.
No,
So-
the tree's leaning. I don't think it's right now a safety hazard, but if it gets any worse, then they're allowed to make a
Okay,
move on it.
thank you.
Okay, Eric, I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
John has asked me to bring forth the repair to the fence over at
White House?
White House,
Yep.
you know, the pipe that's sticking out.
Yep.
Where are we with that?
So I called the company, I kind of skipped over Landmark Fence because I don't get a lot of results from them. I called the company that did the fencing for the recent pickleball project. So they're gonna schedule with me and send somebody out to take a look. They said it shouldn't be hard to fix. Once we have it fixed, I still have the contact with the insurance company. We won't have to pay for it.
Right, the bill goes to the insurance.
Yeah, it's gonna go to insurance because somebody.
The busing-
backed in-
the bus
The bus
back.
backed into
Yeah,
it,
right.
that's right, yep. So hopefully it'll get done sooner than later.
The Mass Senior Games is coming to Harwich for
Mm-hmm.
the first time ever. I mean, the senior games, Massachusetts Senior Games, they've selected Harwich as one of their weekend.
For softball?
Yeah,
Okay,
and I'm wondering,
That's something.
yeah, they've been able to negotiate that, some of the guys in the league or whatever. Is there any way to get Memorial Field looking decent in terms of the broken fences down there the last 2
I
years?
could talk to Highway, sure.
I mean, right now, they're using plywood to buttress up against that fence. And if there's some way we could make it look decent, because this is a big.
When are they coming?
In July.
Okay, let me talk to Brian and Jared.
Okay, thank you.
Senior games, got it.
I guess that's the only one that John asked me to ask, and then I guess that the only ones I have. Well, one other quick thing, did you make a decision yet about, Kroll Field with, about the letter that you're supposed to send out?
Well, I was waiting on we never got a formal request from anybody, so I put together a draft letter
Okay,
that's ready to go,
okay,
saying that, I personally don't support the idea of
Okay.
changing Kroll to a softball field. That's the issue that's come up.
Yeah.
But I haven't sent it because I haven't
just
gotten.
let me tell you,
Yeah, go ahead.
there was a senior softball league once, they've taken over Bassett. They're also interested in refurbishing Kroll, taking out the stone, taking out
The mound.
and the clay infield and putting in stone dust. I'm not, that keen on doing that. I think that should be a dedicated baseball field for the kids.
And it's getting more and more use every summer
Yeah.
with the freshman baseball
So I
team.
asked Eric to send the
Spring.
commissioner a letter saying that we don't, that
And I could send it. The only reason I haven't sent it yet is because they haven't made a formal request.
they're not going to make one.
Okay, because I didn't want to open a box that hasn't been opened.
There's
yet.
a request that's a request that I gave you,
Okay.
and they want an answer on that.
Oh, they do. Okay.
So
All right,
send
I'll
it out
send the
and tell
letter.
them,
Sure.
that ain't gonna happen, okay?
Okay. Got it.
And the reasons why that you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
have it all in there.
Why would that even come forward?
Yeah, is that an official formal request, I guess, to you?
I don't know. I guess through Vaughn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll send the letter.
yeah. They wanted to get some
Well, why
answers.
don't, do you want me to send out the draft letter first before I send it? Or
Yes. You wanna see the draft letter, folks, or not?
I don't
I
need
mean,
to.
I've been working with Eric on it.
It's just basically saying for these reasons we want to keep it as is.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
That's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah,
More
we don't
or
wanna
less.
make any more
I
changes
do have
on
one
that.
question though.
Sure.
The Riptide Baseball Club that was here, did anything ever happen with them?
So
for
Good
Riptide-
question,
school
we talked
vacations?
about it earlier, David and I.
They,
I don't know the word.
They haven't put in any requests for field use yet.
Okay,
As far as the rehabbing of the field over at 204, I know that was a big part of the topic.
yeah,
I haven't heard anything about that yet.
Okay.
I know it's a big money thing,
Yeah. yeah.
But I did reach out after they came that time. I reached out to, I forget his name now, the guy that
Steve.
was here, Steve,
Yeah.
yeah. And said, if you want to use fields, please submit forms because we'll get you in the calendar. We're booking everybody now.
Right.
So, but I haven't heard anything yet.
Our new field prices were approved, right?
Yes,
So-
yeah.
okay,
Yep, so
yeah.
that's underway. Yep.
And then as far as bookings go, I believe the subcommittee had came up with how the bookings were going
Yeah.
and whatnot. How's that all working?
Good so far.
Okay.
It'll be better once we have the financial. We didn't start the
Blocks,
the
yeah.
blocks on MyRec yet.
Okay.
Because we want the financial piece for that. It gets really complicated if people can't pay a deposit or anything
Right,
like that.
totally.
But we are, yes, we're booking in the blocks and
Oh,
it seems to be
okay.
working so far.
Good.
So it's
So
like
you're
one
not
big puzzle.
seeing
getting
like
all
the
of it.
blanket booking this year.
No, not yet.
Good.
Not yet.
Okay.
So the high school has a lot of bookings, but I think it's
But they're
just
utilized.
a lot of used bookings.
Right,
yeah.
because I don't mind seeing,
No.
I just don't like when they're like, oh, we'll book 10 to 8.
And then you drive
and
by
then
and it's so wide
they're only
open.
playing
Yep,
12
exactly.
to 2.
Yep. So far,
that's why I
so
like
good.
the blocks.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
And once it's all on MyRec, the payments will have, it won't be fully booked until they've paid. on
Yeah,
MyRec.
at least partial. I mean, if
Yeah.
it's somebody that's coming in to book, the cap and they're spending like several $1,000s,
Then
they're not going to be asked to
deposit.
pay that whole thing all at
No,
once.
right.
But yeah, there'll be some
Yeah.
kind of payment made.
Right, they
yeah,
couldn't, they can't.
to reserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
David?
Mr. Chairman, through you to the director, is there a B situation that can be deployed after Circus Schmerkus comes and uses the field?
Yep.
If there's a few days, or more than a few days, that the fields are going to be interrupted, is there a plan B?
Well, I mean, we've had instances in the past where weather has been a huge issue, and we've had to, people have had to reschedule. And between, for softball fields, luckily, Bassett's not our only one. Senior Memorial, Potter, we could figure things out with 2 other fields. Same thing with baseball. Whatever was on Kroll Field, we have Brooks, we have White House. We work really well with the Mariners, so I think we'd be able to fit things in. I don't think everything, if it was offline for a month, you'd have a hard time booking everything, but we do our best to fit in what we can.
Senior softball was told that they could be out of that Bassett Field for at least 2 weeks. So they revise their
Just in
schedule as they
case, yeah.
They've done all their revisions already, they just postpone those games, and what they're gonna do is go into double headers when the fields are back operational, and make up their games that way.
And hopefully it's all a moot point.
Yes.
We just lose, right?
So, you have to adapt, you know,
Yeah, we
you
just,
gotta adapt, and that's.
Your call has been
This
forwarded
phone might have died.
yeah, I'll try again.
Frank, you got anything on
He's
that
not-
report,
We
Frankie?
lost him.
We just lost him.
Sorry, Frank.
Your call has been
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think his phone died.
No, you went to that, get his drink refilled.
I'll call back, I think. All right.
All right, let's go on to budget report, then we'll come back to Frank, okay?
Budget report is there. The current balance is very high for the revolving fund, but it's, we tend to see it go way up at the beginning of registrations for a season, and then that's when we start spending on staffing and things like that. So that's basically the budget report. And just an aside from that, since we're talking about budget, I should have highlighted it in the director's report, but budget-wise, we did go to the, I went to the joint meeting of the Finance Committee and the Board of Selectmen. At the time, they were very positive about the possibility of an addition of a new staff. Since then, 2 days later, the selectmen kind of about faced. It's not dead in the water as of yet. The Finance Committee hasn't voted yet, so we're still pushing, but we're trying.
Let me share with you some thoughts.
Sure.
I think that one of the things that I recall from the meeting with the selectmen, when they brought this matter up, they said they're going to wait until the fall. They're thinking about, they want to revisit it in the fall, okay?
Yeah,
And I think one of the questions that was raised at that meeting was the system, what's going on with the system, and they don't see anything moving forward and so on. This was
what's the,
the department.
oh, okay.
Okay.
See, I don't see
I'm
that.
going to contact Julie and ask to sit with her
Sure.
to see whether or not we can be more proactive about getting some help from the Board of Selectmen
Yeah.
in terms of looking at that position. Now, I think what I would like you to do, and I think I've asked you to do it, and I think it's important that we have that information. I would like to see us put together a profile, a plan of what Chatham, Harwich,
Yeah.
Yarmouth, and Dennis has in terms of director, program specialists,
Yeah.
additional staff, and so on, so we can see a comparison. What do we have in our system, conversely to what they have in terms of the staffing they have, and and the number of programs they put forward. I think we need to tell them that we are understaffed, and therefore we have some difficulties doing the kinds of things we want to do.
Yep.
Okay? And if I could get that information, I would like to use it and sit down with Julie
Yeah.
and see if the Board of Selectmen would be more receptive to that information.
Well, they had some of it in the joint committee meeting. They asked for a one-page memo
Yeah.
explaining why you want this person.
Right.
And I did that, and one of the towns I highlighted in there was Chatham, because that's the one that comes up the most. And how much staff they have as compared to what we have, what we used to have, and what we have less now. And they even commented on that as something that needs to be changed. That's why I was so confused 2 days later when they completely
So if you
changed
can
it
get
to-
that from me.
Sure. Yep.
Eric, I'd appreciate
I'll
it.
email it to
Get me as much information as you can relative to the other 3 or 4 towns that they have seemed to compare us with.
Sure.
As we discuss staffing and program specialists and all that.
Yep.
Okay?
In Orleans did a study not too long ago, that did that,
Yeah.
and it's online.
I have,
You
yeah,
it,
I have
and
that
it
too, yeah.
compares
Good,
first
it's good
of-
information. I
Yeah.
think
All different
Oh, yeah.
town stuff.
I'd like to have something
I
in
mean,
my
it's
hand
not-
to be able to sit down and show them,
Right.
visually that this is what we have and this is what they have and this
Right.
is
Yeah, I
where
can
we're
give
at.
you
And the
like a
population.
spreadsheet.
Yeah,
Vaughn.
we're looking for some help.
When I got on the board in '03, you were on the board. We had Kathy Galata.
Yep,
We had Vince Galata.
yep,
We had Lee.
yep,
We
Ann
had
Schweizer,
Jeff.
yep.
Ann Schweizer was the director at the
Right.
time.
Sue Frazier.
Sue Frazier. So there
Right.
were 6 people.
Right.
Yeah.
I recall.
Most of them. That's what I'd like to know, where they will go.
right?
It's considerable
They're all in
difference.
Florida.
And then things happen, you know, as the years progressed, you know, we lost one, then we lost two, and then some got a different job somewhere else, and
Yeah,
we never fill those jobs, you know,
Yeah, big override.
when they left to go to wherever,
Operations Review Committee.
yeah, we've never been able to fill those jobs, for some reason or other, you know, the rec department's doing okay, let's move on, you know, but it's not the way it goes. I mean, the parents are looking for more, programs, we wanna provide those programs, but we can also, you know, volunteers can't do it all. We need somebody who can oversee those programs and help establish those meaningful programs that we want for our kids.
And I think the hiring of the new person that we just hired is gonna be a huge help for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, adding a whole nother person would be game changing.
Okay, anything else? Frank, are you
I
there?
have-
Frankie, are you there?
No.
No,
He's
he's
still
No,
on.
you're just not.
No.
Go ahead,
Can
Lee.
I just have a question that popped up, and it's kind of circling back to director's report. Where are we as far as summer staff hiring?
Yep, oh yeah, so summer staff, so we sent out everything.
Yep, I saw the,
to
that was all,
returnees.
that was good.
Yep, so April 1st is their deadline to get their paperwork back to us. Numbers
Okay.
are looking decent so far. We put out for new applicants, and we're actually getting a bunch
Awesome.
of new applicants too. So
Okay, perfect.
I think we'll be in good shape.
Okay,
So
awesome,
we'll know more by next meeting, for sure.
sure.
Yeah.
Does that
Personal
include
question.
some of the,
That was personal.
No, I get it.
does that include
Every
the kids
day.
programs?
Oh, sure.
Summer program, just
After
the
the
summer,
Summer.
Summer camp program?
summer camp, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, all right.
Getting all those staff for summer camp and all.
Yeah.
Not just the lifeguards.
And we got our.
So you'll have a report in April for that?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. And we got our playground director back, who was
Awesome.
bought. She's
Good.
really good, so
Yeah.
that's huge. Yeah.
Good, terrific. Okay, chairman's report, I have nothing to report out. Liaison reports, David?
Well, the Board of Selectmen certified all the warrant last night for the CPC.
Good,
So
sounds good.
everything went in, everything got passed.
Did we get more money this year than we had in the past?
That's a
No.
good question.
Still don't know.
Well, tell me.
That's a good question.
Well,
It's a good question because he doesn't know the answer.
okay.
We'll put that on next month's agenda.
All right, got it, David. Facilities Committee, I have nothing to report there, the Facilities Committee. Anything else that, let me go around the table. Leah,
Nope,
Brian, David,
Yeah,
Phyllis? Did we ever have an opportunity, I think I
Just
spoke
gonna
to you
ask
once
this, yeah.
or twice, and I think I spoke to you as well, Eric, about having somebody from pickleball, the organization,
Oh, yeah.
come forward and give us an update
Well,
as to
Yeah,
what's going on with pickleball in terms of your governance and your,
right, so
Tom
I thought they were on
Bryant.
I thought they were on the
Yeah,
agenda this
yeah.
month. I asked Elaine about it and then I just did a follow-up.
No, that's
They
fine.
were willing to come tonight, they could have come to public comment,
why don't
I
we put
guess.
them on the agenda for
Yeah.
April?
Already
we'll
got
put
it
them
on
on,
the
yeah.
list.
Okay, would you ask around
Right,
them
so,
to come on?
yeah, two people are gonna come.
We like to know what's going on with pickleball, particularly with the 50C3, the 501C3, you know, status that you have, the
Yeah.
certification you have and so on, so I think it's important to let us know what's happening with pickleball.
Has that
The
changed?
President
No. So
and
the
the
only
treasurer are
thing,
gonna come.
it's not as complicated as it sounds. Like their 501c3 status, that whole organization is separate from our program.
Right.
What they use that for is when they do their Pickle Fun Fest in September, they book our courts.
They're
And
almost
they
like
pay
an
us like
independent
anybody
body.
else, but they're a not-for-profit for that event, because
Right.
that's a special event.
Got it.
But the daily program is just a
Still under this.
Yeah,
Right, so they're two separate
Yep.
entities.
exactly.
You're somewhat independent from,
Totally,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but want to work together.
Yeah.
That's the whole point, is to work together to
Right.
do certain things.
so that if the rec department asks pickleball people, the committee,
Mhm.
okay, to do some additional things, for example, being responsible for the applications or whatever, you know.
Well, that's
Well,
gonna be
that's
on my
mixing
rec.
to, yeah,
Is this something that can be done?
I see what you're saying.
I'm trying to eliminate some of the work that Elaine has to do with all of the applications and all that sort of stuff.
Well,
No, well, my rec is
my
gonna
rec is
take
gonna
care
take
of
care
it.
of that whole thing.
The other thing is, I know it's not really on the agenda, but I met with Tom Bryant, one of the representatives of pickleball.
Okay.
We're doing membership cards, tags for them too, which is gonna
Okay.
streamline the
Will help
process.
a lot.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we got things going.
All
But
right, we'll
certainly
look forward
there's-
to a report from you.
There's certain things that everyone's willing to participate
Good.
in and help organize and take care of stuff,
Yeah.
like the day-to-day stuff that they can do. But as far as signing up, it's gonna be all my rec, and
Okay.
it'll be very simple.
How are we doing with the new pickleball courts? What's
So we're just waiting on
Warm weather.
4 50-degree days in a row.
and then what?
like
Yeah,
my
not
garden.
a
Yeah,
tan.
good luck with that.
And
garden.
then, have they been painted?
No, that's what we're waiting on. They can't do it.
They're doing
until you
landscape.
have-
Okay.
Yeah.
They're doing landscaping over there?
They did, well, highway department leveled off some of the area around it where the water was pooling, so they just, kind of fixed
There were
that
some
up.
ridges, but they're
Yeah.
not gonna put, there's not another coat of pavement that goes on there, it's just paint,
It's just
right?
paint, yeah. Yep.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
painting.
it's
Yep.
just paint.
Okay, I guess I have nothing more. Leah,
Motion.
again, Brian, David,
Move to adjourn.
Second.
I know.
motion made to
I'll put you
adjourn.
in parentheses.
Second, yeah.
Second, all those in favor?
Trying to get all.
Thank you.
What time is it?